we're just in like an Isuzu MUX today. I believe this is the sort of Panasonic unit. There's about 4 different variations you can have in your car depending on what model it is. This also has the rear DVD screen that does play. We might have something in the future for that rear DVD screen, but for now we're just doing the install of the head unit. This is going to be the same on the D-Max models as well. It's going to look like this. Your head unit's the same. These are like clips down here around the side. That's what the unit looks like. So there's not too much going on in here. There is like settings on the actual car. It's not hooked into the car's CAN system. We got obviously like steering wheel controls and a reverse camera. That's about your factory options on here. There isn't any climate controls or anything like showing up. So I'm just going to quickly cover what you get in the kit here. So there's a few bit of slick stuff here. So obviously you got the main unit. Back here you got your main 20-pin plug, a GPS antenna, Wi-Fi antenna, auxiliary plugs, FM and AM antenna. So we've got the fascia. So it's going to fit and look quite factory in your car. Then we'll cover all of the cables. So depending on what model you have, there's going to be a few easy adapter kits here. There's 3 in these kits. So basically what plugs in on the car side is only going to plug in, so you can pretty easily tell what one's going to fit because it's only going to fit in the one that will actually work. So those are your easy adapter cables. There's a 1080p reverse camera. Obviously some cars already have a reverse camera, so the factory one will work, but that's just in the kit as well. External microphone. This we suggest just testing. A lot of the time it's not needed anymore with our latest update. Trim removal tools, just to help pop off the dash. Wi-Fi antenna, it's a long rectangle one. This can just be left floating behind the dash, it doesn't have to be like stuck anywhere. GPS antenna, this is just like mounted like up underneath with a clear view of the sky through the windscreen. Third USB port, there's a pink one in here, just goes into the back of the head unit and the auxiliary plugs. The third one's handed to run one of our extra devices like a dash cam or something like that. Like pre-outs, if you're going to run an aftermarket like amp or subwoofer, but most people won't even need this, so you don't have to use it. Factory USB retention cables, so that it keeps the factory USB port working. 2 USBs and external microphone plug goes into the auxiliary, so obviously one of these will go into our factory USB retention cable, and that'll keep the factory USB port in the car working. Auxiliary in for sound and video, that most people again don't need to use this. The main reason you use it would be if you want to get sound from a caravan camera coming in. The rear view camera input cable, so if you've got the factory camera you're probably going to have the one on your harness already. Otherwise if you're using the aftermarket camera we provide, it's going to be plugged into this one, and you can obviously run a second camera from here if you wanted to. And a Bluetooth scan tool, so you can bring some data from the ECU up onto the screen. So that's everything that's in the kit there. So first, I'm not sure when to get this out of the way. Hold down the shift lock and I'll move it back. And we're going to pull this bottom piece off here. So you just push this down. You can put it into drive. Just gets out of the way. Now you just want to grab the bottom of this with your hands under and just give it a good pull straight out. And you'll find the whole unit pops out like that. Just get your hands in the side there, and that pops off. One big plug in the back. Obviously this is the climate controls can be a lot different, but you're going to have a couple plugs or one plug in the back there. That comes off, you can put that to the side. Now under here you've got 2 Phillips screws, both of those need to come out. Then we can actually pull the whole unit out. So those 2 Phillips screws are going to come out there, fairly straightforward. And if you pop up your lid, I think these always break pretty much. And just pull from the top here, around the silver bit. Sorry, tilt the camera up so you can actually see. Pop this lid up so you can get in behind it. Pull from the top and you'll see this is slightly popped off. whole unit will come off. You just give it a few tugs gently either side. They are like plastic clips, and they will release. Now I'll just show you what we have behind here, but everything's going to come unplugged anyway. So got like a plug up top on your hazards, and you got all your plugs in your stereo. They pretty much all will have a little like push down on top of them that you push down and pull out. So we'll just go through and unplug all those. Sometimes you can just push down that little tab with a screwdriver, or the trim removal tool that actually comes in the kit. Depends how tight they are. So they can all only go back if you were putting them back into the same plug, so don't worry about noticing where they come from. So that's them all out. So this is the back of this unit. There's a Panasonic unit. So it looks like there. So you can see all these plugs here we had. You can see they all had little tabs on top of them to push down to get out. So even these two, this is the HDMI, which is no good, but that has a very small tab you push down. So just keep an eye on all of them, because obviously like this one's already floated over here. So those are all the plugs we have here. That's obviously like the hazard, so that one you don't have to worry about that one there. Those are all your plugs. So this Model 2 does also have down here one USB, two USBs, auxiliary, and an HDMI. The HDMI is basically pointless really, but obviously the USB and auxiliary are handy if you're using it. So the first thing to just do after you pulled everything out the old unit is I'll find the easy adapter kit that's going to sort of fit your one. The easiest way to tell is grab like the main plug. They can only plug into the right ones, so push them in, you can't go too wrong. Again, they only fit to the ones they fit into. And what we're just going to do here is test that we have sound steering wheel controls. That there's no one needed, that's the old GPS. This is for the rear screen monitor, and we'll try and get that working with like a different workaround in a bit. And then down here we've got this is the auxiliary in. We don't have an adapter for that, but we do have the adapter for the USB port to work. So that's this one down here. So that's all your cables are hooked up here. Now all we want to do is we just I'll plug this into the VD head unit. Make sure we have sound, steering wheel controls, and the reverse camera works. So obviously we want to plug in that main 20 pin black one. We've got this grey one here because this has like a factory reverse camera. That goes in, and the FMA antenna. That's also going to be plugged in. And you can see I've actually missed a plug there, so I'm also going to plug that plug in. There you go. Yeah, so always just a double check you've plugged all the plugs in. And it's starting to rain, so I'm just going to quickly do something. I'll put those plugs in. Then what we were trying to do is just want to turn your car on, and you'll see hopefully we should get some power here. And what we're just checking out is just want to check like all the options are working here. So steering wheel, reverse camera, sound and radio. So the radio first. We've got like sound here that coming through, so that's fine. No, that session is. Switch the headlights on and slide down if you come across. So that's cool. We've got the station working. Put the car into reverse. You've got to give yourself full accessory lights to go into reverse. Cool. Reverse camera is working. That's good. Now, steering wheel controls aren't working because this car doesn't have a CAN bus interface. What you need to do, these are on all the D-Max and the MUXs, you just need to go into wheel kit like 30 and just push. I'm going to push something here on the wheel. I'm going to push like volume up, and you can see it's like I picked it up. So I just do that and go okay. I'll just do one for now, but you can do them all. And now you'll see if I go volume up, it's coming up. So that's just how we test that. So everything is like working that we need there. So that's perfect. Right, so we've got our two head units here. We've got the old one, the old one and the new head unit. So there's a couple of things we have to take off here. So obviously put them down so the screens are something like soft. These clips need to obviously come off here. 1, 2, 3, 4 clips. And obviously this like has a button has to come out as well, so push either sides that has a button and just push forward, and that pops out. So that's pretty easy, and that's just going to slide into another seed unit here. Goes in like so, pretty straightforward. And obviously like the clips are going to come off this other one, so to pop those clips off, just put a screwdriver on both sides of them. Right, so now we'll just go and put in the extra ones we have to. So GPS antenna, just want to get this so as a clear view of the sky as far forward as possible. Normally it's not too bad. If you put your hand under here you can feel it. So you could put it straight under here, but you might put like a phone in there or something like magnetic. So you can actually get right up under there, and it's probably hard to see, but sorry, right up under here. But my hands actually pretty much sort of like they get into under here on the dash. So that's where we'll try and get to. That way it gets a pretty clear view of the sky straight out there, and you're not going to put anything sort of metal in here above it or anything like that. So normally you can almost leave most of it still connected up, because you only need a little bit there. So you leave most of that connected up, peel off obviously the stick pad off the bottom. Alright, so we're going to go right up the back there. And stick that down. Give it a good push obviously. That's a GPS. Then your kit here, you're going to have a couple. These almost look the same, these factory USB retention cables, but this is a factory USB plug here. So it's only going to fit in to the one it's going to fit into, which is this one here. So on here it actually is a small like number in here. So ends in 01, the other one ends in a 02. So that's your factory USB retention. So that's going to plug into straight into over here. You can plug into the Android Auto one. So that's going to be that. The other USB, this model actually has a second USB on it. Hopefully in our future kits we actually will include an extra panel one. So there is actually two USBs down here next to one another. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's one there, and there's a single one right next to it. So we'll actually get a panel switch there, which will give the option for a pass-through USB, which like a pass-through just means exactly kind of like what we're doing with this like a first one here. We've passed this one through, and it's going to obviously come out there. And then we'll have a quick charge port in there too, which can just hook into your power of your car, like ACC power and ground. For now, I'm just going to probably run this down. You can tuck this out the kick panel or something for now, just to keep it out of the way, and so you can get to it if you need to. So now you got your third USB here that can go into the back of the head unit when it goes in, and like your Wi-Fi antenna. Again, that can go into the head unit as it pretty much goes in. So it's basically everything on this one. So we can start putting this unit sort of back in now. So obviously one side says Wi-Fi, so screw the Wi-Fi antenna into there. You can just leave this one floating behind. The reason we have like this is just in case for future models and stuff, if you do want to run like a long range Wi-Fi option, a camera or something, it is possible. That's the reason why it exists. So a USB plug here, it's going to go into the auxiliary plugs like that. That's all fine, that's all fine. Then we've got our main harness again, just like we hooked up before. Again, the two plugs left over are two plugs left over, you can see here. One would have been the old GPS, this grey one, and this other green one's the rear screen, which we are going to have a crack at later on to get working. Sorry, and you do have the HDMI, which is basically pointless. Unsure of why they actually put an HDMI input in. Right, so now I'll just go back and put everything in as it was. So obviously your main 20 pin plug here, FM plug over here, reverse plug into here, third USB we'll leave hanging out the back into here as we're not using it yet. Gonna be handy in the future. Or you can like drop it out the firewall, the kick panel down the bottom. So it's a bit easier to get to if it's something you do want to use in the future. And your GPS. So when you screw these on, just make sure you do screw them on all the way. Alright, so it looks like everything. Leave that down there. Down there, and obviously your hazard button goes in the top there. Always just double check that you haven't forgot anything, because it's fairly easy to do. We'll push our hazard switch in, and then we'll just slide this all back in. Now before you do go and clip it in all properly, I always suggest just powering everything back up again to make sure it was all good, because you don't want to put it all back in and then find something's not working. So you can just tuck those cables tightly behind there. So I'm just going to leave it sitting there. Obviously, external mic. You can test this and see if you want to use it or not. We've found with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, it's fine without it now. This was a rear monitor. I'm just going to leave this down here for now because I want to try something with that. This was into like an aircon, so that's alright. And then these were our USB ones. So I'm going to tape those up and tidy that up, and I'm going to tuck one down into the kick panel. But again, just power the car up. Obviously, I'll make sure the head unit comes on, the radio works, you got sound, your reverse camera. Exact same checks you did before. Always like to do those checks a couple of times, because you don't want to put in and have to pull it back out. So we learned to have volume up before, so we've still got that. Didn't save any stations, we've got sound coming in.
3 Sport FM, I'm Matt Grubelich, your host. Glad to have you here with us.
And reverse. That's good.
Well, before the golf guys do take over.
That's what we wanted there. So that's all good. See, everything was tested and it was all good. So now it's just a matter of giving this head unit a few little pushes into place. There's the rain back again, and it just clips in. So that's your head unit mounted in. So it's all looking pretty good there. Grab your AC controller. There's a couple of different types depending if you've what AC controller you have inside the D Max or the MUX. And this just clips onto here, like so. So again, it is all plastic, so if it's not going in, it'll be for a reason. So just take it out and have a look at it. You can use your hands to get up there. You can use the trim removal tools that are in the kit. Just looking at why that's not sticking in. Do not see any reason. There you go. So just a note on that one there, it is quite good to tuck the bottom in before it clips out. So that's not quite right either. So round 7. Get that lined up nicely, and the bottom. So I'm just going to start again here. So it might be a case on this one that it's going to work better if we start clipping the bottom first
and then clipping the top. We'll give that a go. Sometimes that can work a bit better.
So once it's clipped back in, you can just do the wheel key study now. So I'll do this is wireless. So volume down, remember volume down. You can do a long click as well. So you could say if you've got volume down, no, on volume down you actually can't do a long click on this one. So that's not right. And then you got skip, and you got back skip, mode, answer phone, and then save and exit. So that gives you your steering wheel controls obviously coming in.